these are some extracts from messages between yourself and Ms Lloyd. I'm starting with the one on the 27th of October 2020, 7:10. So just reading through them, it says, I'm having a bit of a crisis, this is you speaking, I'm having a bit of a crisis of decision-making in hospitality, not helped by the fact I haven't slept. The public health argument says stick with 6 PM/NO alcohol, no alcohol for level 3, but I suspect industry will go mad, and I worry we could derail debate, though I suspect that won't happen and we could commit to listening and changing if we felt necessary. To which Ms Lloyd replies, my instinct is 6 PM. That's the same as Central Belt now, but some more places open. They have offered further mitigation, so we work with them on delivering those extra mitigations and review at that point. She then follows up, the only alternative would be 8 PM, but no alcohol. Restaurants would like you for that. To which you say it's the same as non-Central Belt. Places can open, but only for food, non-alcohol. 8 PM would be better. I guess, but not sure we can make much of a public health argument for 8 PM alcohol at level 2 and 8 PM no alcohol at level 3. Ms Lloyd replies, that's why I would stick with 6 PM, but if you want to compromise, it would be about giving people regulated places to be in the winter rather than unregulated homes. But no alcohol because it changes behaviour. The difference from now would basically be it's colder and it's darker, so people will be less likely to be outside. You say, OK, we should stick with 6. It's also random, but I think we need to be prepared for a bit of backlash. I've also queried whether we really need the last entry times, and if we do, if we should give on 9:30/10:30. As it stands, there's nothing we can point to say we've listened to industry. Ms Lloyd replies, level 2, 8 PM is listening to them. And then she follows up, and the whole allowing restaurants and pubs to stay open, you say, I suppose, and then she says, there's quite a lot recently. I mean, they'll still be grumpy, but there it is, I think it's meant to say. This is an example of a messaging exchange that would be relevant to someone who would be interested in knowing how decisions in this regard had been arrived at.
Yes, but in many respects, I think this exchange illustrates the answers I've been giving you for context, and I'll be corrected if I'm wrong, but I think this is 7:20 on the morning of the 27th of October 2020. I think I was on my way to a cabinet meeting. I would be in the car from Glasgow. These would be decisions that Cabinet was about to arrive at, and I am simply talking about the things that I would then go into Cabinet and we would talk about, and then would be recorded through the Cabinet minutes, and the decisions that we took. I was probably later that day standing on a public platform talking about some of the decisions that we'd faced, the options that we had, and why we had arrived at the decision that we have arrived at. There's I can't see it right now, there's a reference in there to I have queried. That's a reference, that's something I had obviously fed in as a question to the advisors who would have been preparing the cabinet minute papers. So in a sense, I look at this and I don't consider that there is anything in that wouldn't be reflected through the decision making and the evidence of the decision-making of the government, and undoubtedly hospitality and the impact of hospitality, the different time limits, that was all very, very much to the fore in public discussion at the time. And I am certain that I would have been talking openly about some of these choices and the fine balances of the very difficult decisions that we were having to take.
Will we find on the corporate record or some other public record that your position was we should stick with 6? It's all so random.
That's the message exchange Mr Dawson starts with, and again I said earlier on, the reason I don't think WhatsApp messages should be used to have substantial government discussions is because we can look at them almost 4 years later and they're open to different interpretations. That message exchange that you read out started with me, perhaps this is the kind of thing I would prefer not to be on the public record, having a crisis of decision making. It, perhaps is not what I wanted